Welcome to Caseback Watches. My name is Tim, and in this video I answer your questions. Thank you very much for your participation during the last videos, and I've received questions via Instagram and Facebook as well. I don't use Facebook so much, and so if you want to write me, email, Instagram here on the channel, right? I think this is quicker then. So let's get started with the first question by Kevin Corkery, and Kevin wants to know, why don't more watchmakers make a big date? I have a Glashütte Original with big date and a Rolex Datejust 41 with the Cyclops. A Lange und Söhne and Breguet have big dates, but why must I spend $10,000? Why can't Psycho or others do this? Good question. The answer is very easy. Older gentlemen. If you produce a very expensive watch, let's say for your $10,000 there, right? You produce the watch. Who has the money for this? The younger gentleman or the older? Often it's the older, and the older one cannot see little dates anymore. I mean, I wear my Dubian Schaldenbrand now. Look at the date. It's tiny. And so then the rich guy says to the watchmaker, beautiful watch, but I cannot read the date. Could you please make a big date for me? And this is the explanation behind the big date. Older people. Okay, next question. Francisco Salazar Jr. Name sounds familiar. I think you were in another Q&A video here. So thank you very much for the question. And the question is, I want to buy a vintage Rolex, but I'm worried they might be fragile. What sort of upgrades can I get for it? You don't need no upgrades. They are not fragile, in fact. They are pretty robust. If you see, let's say, a Submariner or a Datejust from the 70s, 80s, they're super robust. But of course, they're old watches. They're old watches, and so you have to make sure that they are waterproof, because this is, of course, dangerous. This can ruin your watch in no time if watch enters the case. And Rolex models have a weak spot, and this is the tube, the thread in the tube. You have the screw-down crown, and if you use this thing very often, then it wears out the thread inside the tube, and then you need a new tube. Luckily, they are available. New old stock parts are available. I've bought once a tube in Sweden, was no problem, was about 50 euros, 60 euros. Together with the crown, they are more expensive, and mostly you need a new crown. But I will stop rambling now, you get the idea. You have to make sure that the thing is waterproof, and then you can wear it not as your beta watch, but as a normal day-to-day watch. Yes. Next question, Oscar Gustavo Arcos Ruiz. I hope I pronounced this the correct way. Familiar name as well, by the way. And he has 3 questions. He had an entire catalog of questions. I shortened this a little bit. And where does your fondness for Sartorial come from? I think Django Reinhardt. It was jazz. It was jazz and jazz. Of course, the early forms of jazz are connotated with a certain style from the 30s. And I discovered this style with the help of Django. And then later I was in constant need of clothes, suits for the stage, because part-time musician, and there you need something to look nice. And I have a little policy there. I don't want to wear some sort of costume on stage. I want to wear a nice suit I could wear during filming or in the office or on the street. And so I read a lot about fashion and menswear and style. There you can see the Alan Flusser book. And so I think it started really with Django Reinhardt. This was my first entry. And what was your first watch is Oscar's second question. What was your first watch? You bought it or they gave it to you? Do you still have it? Tissot Lisboa. Tissot Lisboa. I've bought it myself because I really love the country Portugal and the people there and the culture and the food and everything. And Lisboa. Tissot Lisboa. Beautiful tank. And in a moment of insanity, I sold the watch later on to a friend. Actually, to my absolutely best friend. I consider him my second brother. And so when I see him every 2 days, and so it's not a problem. He loves the watch, and he would lend me the watch, I think. And so yeah, it's not a long distance between me and the Tissot Lisboa, but I don't have it anymore. What is your height in meters, only for curiosity? Oscar, man. but it's of course not a secret. It's 1 meter and I have to look at my passport. I think 1 meter and 79 centimeters. So these were the 3 questions of Oscar. Next question is from your vintage watch on your vintage watch on Instagram. How to wear a pocket watch. They are complicated. There are some chains involved and some techniques, and I think I cannot explain this here quickly, and so I think I'll make a video about that. What do you think? Do you want a video about how to wear a pocket watch? The Google algorithm will hate this because nobody wears them anymore, but if you want this video, I'll produce it. So put it in the comments, please. Steve Wilson. Oh, complicated question. Last year and the year before, I went on a cruise for my holidays with celebrities, and naturally on the cruise they like to keep people entertained and also spend money. They have a Rolex night each week. Literally, they have many hundreds of Rolex watches for sale. You bid and barter for the watches on sale, NOS, used, new. And as I recall, because you are traveling in international waters, tax is not applied to the sale. So for me, it could be a 20% saving, a big saving of a quality watch. It could potentially pay for your holiday. Did I buy? No, because then and now I need to acquire proper knowledge and do my homework on the watch I want. Yeah, good decision. He touches there a very, very difficult problem. If you are in international waters, of course there are no taxes, but in the moment you enter your home country, then the watch falls under the jurisdiction of your home country, and then you have to pay taxes. You have to go through customs, and they will ask you, what's this? And then you have to pay 20% or what import duties or customs. And so the saving here is fictional, or the saving is only valid if you stay in international waters. And who wants to spend his life in international or on international waters? Nobody. And so, good advice here. Next question is from Baron Silver Baron. Hi Tim, I'm about to sell my first watch on Chrono24. One of your videos has got me worried. How do I protect myself from the buyer saying there was nothing in the box and getting his money back from Chrono24 plus my watch? Very good question. I had no idea, to be frank, and so I've written to Chrono24, to the press inquiry, to the official press guy there, and I asked, look, I'm running a YouTube channel, people are concerned about security on your platform and especially about this problem, and please, is there a solution? Tell me something about, please. No response. They didn't respond. And 1 week later, I've wrote again and I said, look, I've written this mail 1 week ago, please answer, or if you cannot answer the question, then please find a guy who can answer it. And no response, no response. I mean, first, this is a bad way to conduct your business. If people are concerned about security with your business model, then you should have an answer. And now I must assume, this is pure speculation, I must assume they have no answer. They have no answer at all. They don't know how to handle this problem. I could imagine that they decide this from case to case. Let's say the buyer is located in Somalia, Nigeria, those countries, and the seller is located in Berlin, New York, Paris. I think then they can figure out that there's a fraud going on. But if it's the other way around, what then? And so, yeah, the question, I have to leave the question unanswered. Very sorry. Okay, Baron Silver Baron has another question. Do you let your watches wind down? You seem to have a number of watches you switch between. Yes, and yeah, I let them totally wind down. Why not? And I mean, the question is related to the question, should you use a watch winder? And I think the answer to this is pretty clear. No, you should not. Because it makes no sense. It uses the movement all the time and friction, and it will shorten the intervals for service. And so there's, in my eyes, no point using a watch winder, with one exception. If you have a super complicated watch, moon phase, perpetual calendar and everything, and you don't want to manipulate this, then you could use a watch winder, of course. And of course, if you have this super complicated watch together with unlimited funds and you don't give a damn about servicing costs, then of course you can use a watch winder. And this brings me to the idea, let's imagine a billionaire and he is watching this video and he says, watch winder is not recommended, okay. And then he has this super complicated watch and he gives the super complicated watch to his manservant. Hey, Nestor, put this on. And now the Nestor, the manservant is the human watch winder, has to move all day long. Where those ideas come from? Okay, next question from Douglas. I have a 1984 5513 Rolex, no date, Submariner. I bought it new sometimes in the late 80s. I've had it serviced several times and it looks pretty good and original. My question is, how can I value this watch? I looked on Chrono24 and the prices seem to be anything between 15,000 euros and 5,000. I recently had it serviced and it cost me 1,000 at a Rolex AD in Cannes. I don't want to wear it now because it's so ridiculously expensive to service it. Yeah. How to figure out the correct price? This is a longer answer, but I receive this question all the time, and so let's do it. You have to do your homework, of course. You have to research prices on Chrono24, on eBay, and on watch forums and some platforms like Caseback, auction platforms. Because the prices, especially on Chrono24, are the dreams of the seller. Those are asking prices. Those are not the prices who lead to transactions. This is the problem. And so, and some dealers on Chrono24, they're just waiting for the next idiot who buys a watch which is totally overpriced, okay? So again, you have to find the real market price for it. And the real market price you find in auctions, eBay, Caseback, or on watch forums where you can see the listing, and then you can see the listing was closed, and then you can see the last price. You can assume that there was a little bit negotiating involved at the last step, but then you have an idea of the region of your price. And auction prices can be very low, bad timing, bad season. So you can pay a little bit more than an auction price if it's not an auction, but only a bit more, okay? This is important. I know this is repetitive, but it's super important. It's super important. No sense that you see, oh, this watch is advertised on Chrono24 for 5,000, so the price is 5,000. No, it's not. Sometimes you see those watches over a year on Chrono, same thing on eBay. Sometimes you see the watch on Chrono24 for a realistic price and on eBay for a really, really high price. And then the dealer says, okay, the experts are on Chrono and the idiots are on eBay, and so I try to find an idiot on eBay who buys the watch for that insane price. I mean, this is totally dishonest and real asshole move, but people do this. Second part of my answer is you have to learn about the specifications of your model, about the varieties, so to speak. If you see here your no-date Submariner from the late 80s, makes a difference if the watch has a service dial or the original dial. Is the original dial beautiful? Is there some sort of beautiful patina on it, or is it without patina? Is the case polished? Is the case not polished? Is the case bad polished? And so every picture in the ad, in the listing, every angle makes a difference in price. And so if you want to handle this amount of money, between 5,000 and 15,000, then you have to become an expert for your particular watch. So you have to learn all the varieties. You have to make a Google image search. Maybe you have to read some articles. There's this book out there, what's it? My God, I've recommended it here. The Rolex Field Guide, the vintage Rolex Field Guide. This is it. I'm not affiliated with the author, but I recommended this book one time here on the channel. It's a great source, I must say. And so, yeah, this is the answer. You have to do your homework. You have to learn everything about the model. You have to learn everything about the markets. And yeah, then you can value your watch. Okay, those were your questions. And now a little disclaimer regarding emails. I receive a lot of emails these days from viewers of the channel, and this is perfectly fine. And I read every email I receive, but the amount is growing pretty fast, and I cannot answer every email anymore. Impossible, because one-man show here. I do everything myself, filming, editing, answering comments, answering emails. So this is impossible. If I know the answer right now, if you have a question, excuse me, and I know the answer, then I will write back instantly. This is not a problem. But when I have to make some research about your question, then sometimes it's impossible. Then you are traveling with a band or a family, business. But I'm pretty sure you understand this. It's not meant to be rude. It's just the reality of a busy person. I think we all are busy persons in a way. So that's all for today. Maybe there's a hidden outro for you. And now let me thank you very much for your attention, and maybe until next time.